Hello painters, today we're going to paint the Wizkids Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures Grey Slaad. So starting off, I skipped the normal zenithal priming, and we're just going to start off with some P3 Grey Coat Gray and base coat the entire model. I'm using the airbrush to speed things up, but you can just brush it on if you want. I'm sorry, that's Ironhull Gray. So using the airbrush with a little flow improver, basically doing 2 thin coats. Up next we've got some scale 75 Braineater Azure. And I'm going to airbrush that onto his chest and stomach. In the monster manual, the way they show this guy, he's pretty much just all gray, and I thought that was kind of boring, so I wanted to add a little bit of color to him. And we're going to save our extra paint and paint the flaps in the little his armpit flaps or whatever they are. And then he also has between his thumb and first finger a little fold there as well. So just brushing some more on to kind of fortify the color. This will take a couple coats. Now next up I've got some Army Painter Blue and Army Painter Strong Tone wash with a little bit of the quickshade mixing medium. And we're just kind of making a dark blue wash. And we will coat the whole thing. Get a bigger brush, it speed things up. One other thing I should note, it helps a lot of times if you do a varnish before you do a wash. I did end up rubbing off some of the paint with the wash and had to go back and redo it. So if you want to play it safe, give it a nice gloss varnish, let that dry, and then do your wash. And after that you can spray it with a matte varnish to get rid of the shine. Alright, so now we've got some scale 75 Miskatonic Gray, and we're going to dry brush the entire model, other than the spines and claws. There's a lot of good texture on here, so this is a great chance to use some dry brushing for an easy effect. Even just go right over that purple. Next up, we've got some P3 Frostbite, and this will be our second dry brush. So this is a much lighter gray, kind of a bluish gray, and this will really start to bring out the details. Just make sure your brush is very dry. Wipe it really well on a paper towel. I like to test it on my thumb to make sure it's not going to be streaky. Then we've got some P3 Menoth white base, and we're going to base coat all of the spines. Just take your time, make sure you get them all the way around. This is probably the most difficult part. Alright, now we've got some Citadel Agrax Earthshade, or you could use a Army Painter strong tone. And we're just going to shade the spikes and claws with that. Now we've got some Secret Weapon Tire Black, one of my favorite paints. And I'm painting the claws on the fingers and the toes and the inside of his mouth. And back to our Menoth white base. I'm just going to do a quick highlight over all the spikes and claws. Just using the side of the brush to just kind of hit the edges of them and the tips. Now we've got some P3 Umbral Umber, and we're going to base coat the gauntlets, or not gauntlets, bracers, whatever those things around his wrist are called. And now we've got some Vallejo monocolor Ivory, and for the eyes I just do basically 2 dots on either side of his eye, or eyeball. It's a little tricky trying to do this on camera. And then with the same paint, I'm just going in and highlighting all the very small little teeth on his bottom jaw and on the top. Here we got some Army Painter Greedy Gold, and we're going to dry brush the bracers. And now I've got some Reaper New Gold, and we'll do a light dry brush highlight just to shine it up a little bit. And I just kind of brush some on the raised parts, give it another highlight. Alright, here I decided I wanted to do a little more with the spines, so I've got some Skill 75 black leather, and I'm just airbrushing the tips of the spines and the claws. This is a style you see a lot in Games Workshop models from their studio. And you basically want to cover about half of the spine with the first pass, and then go back again after it dries and just darken up the tips a little more. Just using a little piece of paper to keep it from overspraying on the other parts of the model, and just holding it at the right angle so I don't hit anything else that way. And you could brush this on if you wanted. And here's our finished Slaad. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, make sure and hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys next time.